Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my new video. My name's AJ. I'm your host for today, and I'm going to be talking to you about all of the latest news happening around UK at the moment. I'm going to be talking about the BBC license fee being cancelled. I'm also going to be talking about Boris Johnson, the state of UK's economy, supply chain problems, gas and interest rate rises. I'm also going to be talking about the Chinese spy in UK as well, and my opinions on that as well. So, I'm very much straight talking. I don't hold back any punches. Pretty much what you see is what you get with me. If you like my channel, please subscribe. Or if you really like the channel and you want to support what I do, you're welcome to join my Patreon, or you can buy me some coffees. The links are in the description. I'm currently on 44 members. I would love for it to get to 50. Anyway guys, without further ado, let's get on with the show. So the first news for today, I woke up this morning and the first big news for today I found was the BBC license fee is going to be abolished in 2027. Absolutely celebrated. I literally jumped up and down. I was so excited. I've never been this happy for a long time. And absolutely deserve it. They absolutely deserve this. First of all, guys, we as British nationals are forced to pay a BBC license fee of about £160. It goes up every year. And we're forced to pay for really bad television. It's all woke trash. Absolutely identity politics. All the shows are just woke trash. You just don't want to see any of it. And one of my favourite shows growing up, Doctor Who, they completely destroyed it with their woke ideologies and woke trash. Completely destroyed the show. I just can't bear to watch it anymore. And I've grown up with Doctor Who. I used to love Doctor Who, and it's pretty much the same across board. And what they've been doing is they've been taking our money and doing whatever the hell they want. And it's not just the shows, guys. It's the absolutely biased news as well. And as you know from the news, they've been coming up with all sorts of biased news and fake news over the years. And one of the biggest fake news is obviously about the Xinjiang and, the concentration camps, fake concentration camp stories. And everyone knows about this John Sudworth guy from the BBC accusing China of lies. Him and his fake stories about concentration camps, forced labour was shown all over the world. And absolutely lies, guys, absolute lies. I mean, how can a country accuse another country of something like that and not have any evidence? Their BBC's only evidence was basically showing satellite images. I can show satellite image of BBC's offices and say BBC's causing forced labour. Go investigate them. I mean, that's not really evidence. I mean, seriously. And all of these articles are painted bad against China, making China look so bad and across the world, and there's no excuse for that, guys. And it's just the BBC being biased, and it's absolutely sickening. Some of the stories I've seen, some of the lies, and none of it's true. It's just all made up. And BBC deserves everything they get. And not only that, it's just their programming is so bad. And I've mentioned all the programming. It's just so bad. I've not seen a BBC program for years, not since I was 16. It's just gone so bad. It's all just woke trash. Every time I flick through the channels and a BBC program comes along, it's just woke trash. I'm telling you. I don't remember any good shows coming out of BBC apart from the wildlife programs and stuff, but you can get good wildlife programs in Netflix. And the price itself, £159, I'm sure Netflix is cheaper, and you're forced to pay that. And if you don't pay, I think there's people out there who get criminal records if you don't pay. And all of these old people who are at home, who got nothing, they're retired, they got no jobs, so they're watching TV. And then you got bailiffs knocking on their door if they can't afford to pay for the, bills. And the problem with UK at the moment, UK is not having a good time at the moment. They're having a huge issue with inflation. Everything's gone up. Cost of living has gone up, cost of gas prices have gone up, and I'm going to go into that in more detail later on. So people can't afford another bill on top of their gas bills, electricity bills, council tax bills. Plus, if you're driving a car, there's all sorts of congestion charge bills as well. And people just don't have any money to burn these days. If you're living in UK, you just don't have money to save. You can't save any money, or if you try and save any money, it goes on to bills. If you do save any money, it basically, if you drive in a car, for example, you'll get a fine for, going the wrong way, or if one of your wheels, is on a bus lane, for example, you get a ticket for £100. If you park in your car and you're like 1 minute late, and you'll get, again, a parking ticket for £100. If you're living in London, you can't save any money. All the money just goes into authorities, fines and bills and more fines. It's absolutely the worst place to live in UK, in London at the moment. And, I do love London. I used to, I've grown up in London, and I've seen how life was like, and I've grown up really happy, and I've got my friends here. But recently, last 5-10 years, the government is just squeezing every last penny out of the people, because of the economy, because of the way things are. They're just squeezing everything they can out of the people, and people are going into poverty. People can't afford to pay for their mortgage. People can't pay for their gas bills to keep warm for the winter, and it's becoming absolutely ridiculous. It's becoming like USA, and you've seen the picture of USA of all of these homeless people out in the street. That's going to be UK very soon, because one of the things they've done, they've increased the interest rates, and increasing the interest rates means people have to pay more for their mortgages, for example. And if you've taken some loans out, because a lot of people are taking loans out to make ends meet. A lot of people can't afford the cost of living, so they have to take out loans. They got mortgages. Now they have to pay more for their mortgages. Now they have to pay more for their loans, and a lot of people are going to be defaulting. And if you've taken out a loan to pay for your rent, for example, you default on your loan payment and you can't pay your rent, you'll be kicked out. If you default on your mortgage payments, you'll be kicked out. You see, things are not looking good at all. And plus, you got to think about paying for your BBC license fee as well. It's absolutely ridiculous. We should not have paid for the BBC license fee. I don't know how BBC have got away with it for so many years. And, people have grown up paying for it. But previously, it wasn't that much of a big deal. But recently, with the cost of inflation, cost of living, this is just another bill people can't, just can't pay at all. And the fact that you get a criminal record if you don't pay, or you get bailiffs knocking on your door, is beyond ridiculous, guys, beyond ridiculous. So I'm glad BBC is going to lose this license fee. And without this license fee, I suspect that they're going to go bankrupt within the next 10 years. Or the government will have to bail them out. But either way, I just hope they crash and burn, because what they've been doing with our money is scandalous. It's absolutely scandalous. It's like if you give a homeless guy some money and he goes and buys some drugs with it, you're not going to be happy, are you? It's the same thing. You're giving BBC our money. I'm giving BBC my money, my hard-earned money, and they're out there spending it on ridiculous things that I don't want them to spend it on. For example, they're paying all of these people millions of pounds in salaries, and they're coming out with woke trash TV programs I just don't want to watch. I just can't even bear to even look at it for 5 minutes. I don't want that. People don't want that. People are fed up of all of these identity politics and all of these shows being destroyed with political messages and stuff. People are fed up of it. And we don't want our money to go onto that kind of crap. So I'm glad BBC are being defunded, to be honest, and I hope this is the end of them, because whatever's coming to them, they deserve it. So remember when I said I was a Doctor Who fan? Thank God I'm not Doctor Who fan anymore, because look at what's happening now. Look how desperate BBC and the actress for Doctor Who is getting so desperate. Doctor Who fans charged eye-watering £220 for meet and greet with Jodie Whittaker. I mean, who wants to meet her anyway? She's like the worst Doctor Who there ever was. I mean, I'm not saying it because she is a woman, but I mean, some of the Doctor Who episodes I've watched, she was awful in it. I don't care if you're a woman, a man, if your acting is that bad, you deserve to be sacked. And I think because she's a woman, she gets away with a lot of crap. I mean, now you have to pay £220 for a meet and greet with her. I mean, bloody hell, who does she think she is? Angelina Jolie? I mean, absolutely ridiculous. I'd rather keep my £220 very much. She's not even an A-lister. She's not even a Z-lister. Seriously, I don't know who would pay £220 to kind of sit and do a meet and greet with her. Absolutely ridiculous. The BBC is getting desperate, and Jodie Whittaker is also getting desperate. So I don't have to talk much about Boris Johnson, but as you know, he is a clown, as Macron would put it. The world sees him as a clown. We are absolutely embarrassed to have him as leader. He has single-handedly destroyed UK's economy by himself, completely destroyed it by pushing for Brexit. And since we've been in Brexit, he's done nothing. And UK is pretty much isolated, and its economy is going down year after year, and things are not looking good at all. And he is just a major embarrassment. His latest embarrassment is that he admitted to lying about having parties in Downing Street. He's lied to the Parliament, he's lied to the people, so I don't see him lasting very long. So I want to show you a clip about him dancing in a Downing Hill party, and then let me know what you guys think. So first of all, guys, I don't know what this lady is doing with a lightsaber, don't ask me, but this is actual Boris himself, and yes, it is Boris. It's not a fake Boris or anything like that. It's not an actor. It's actual Boris, and his excuse, sorry guys, his excuse at the top, you can see, I didn't know it was a party. So he's been using this excuse to Parliament, has been using it to all the people and all the papers, saying I didn't know it was a party. And this was during lockdowns, while everyone else was having lockdowns. Everyone was not even allowed to see the loved ones when they were dying in hospital. We were not allowed to see any friends. This guy was having parties in his parliament. So absolutely, sickening. Absolutely sickening, guys, and absolutely unforgivable. So first of all, I really don't know what this lady is doing with the lightsaber, but forget the lightsaber. It's just a joke, and he's just a joke going around Instagram, and this is what people in Britain think about him. He's not going to last long, guys. Unfortunately, there's not much replacements. We have Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak, but I think Liz Truss is going to be the next leader, to be honest, and she's even worse, in my opinion. So let's see how things go. As you can see. So I'm gonna excuse me. I'm going to go to the next story now. Millions face second record energy price hike this year, analysts warn. So everyone in UK, our energy price is going to double. And it's going to double to around 2,255 from October, and from April it will go up to 2,000. So this is mainly means we're going to have to pay double our energy prices. The current price cap is 1,277, which means we are not allowed to pay more than 1,277 because that's the current limit for each person, how much they pay. If it goes anything above that, then the gas companies have to pay. So one of the reasons a lot of gas companies are going bankrupt, because they are having to pay on top of these bills. So obviously the bills are much higher. So all of these gas companies are having to pay on top of this price cap. which means they're going bankrupt. So what they're doing now, they're going to increase the limit from 1,277 to 2,000 and even up to 2,255, meaning us as people of UK, we're going to have to pay double our gas prices this year. And obviously this is an average, so some people will have to pay more. If you're a big family of 5 or 6, for example, you got a big house, you're going to use obviously more gas. There's going to be more cooking. You're going to need more boilers to keep you warm at night. So yeah, the more people you have, the bigger energy price you will get. So it's not looking good at all, guys, because this is going to completely put people into poverty. People do not have an extra £1,000 lying around to pay for gas prices. So just to give you an example of how much gas prices have risen up over last year, as you can see, from January 2007 all the way up to May 2020, everything was fine. It was gas prices were steady and constant. Then last year, obviously, things shot up, mainly for a number of reasons. Number one, Brexit, because most of the gas comes from Russia, Europe as well. And the second thing that's happened is obviously the virus. And the third thing that's happened is obviously all of the supply chain issues around the world and all of the gas prices increases around the world. And plus, Russia's Nord Stream 2 pipeline hasn't been approved yet, so there's still a lot of issues happening around the world, and last year or so it's been very, very tough. And normally there's two ways of buying gas, and one is called a hedge method or hedging. And hedging is when a gas company pays for a long-term gas deal, and you basically stick by the rate. So it's going to be the same price for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, or you can use the spot market. So the spot market, think of it like a variable mortgage rate, and hedging is your fixed rate mortgage rate. So your fixed rate mortgage rate, you pay the same amount, doesn't matter if the gas price goes up or down. And as you can see, last 10, 20 years, it's been going up and down. So a lot of gas companies, what they do is sometimes they go into the hedging method, but most gas companies go on the spot market rate. So the spot market, whether the gas price goes down or up, they basically put these charges onto the consumer. But obviously there is a price cap, and so it's not going to go above that 1,227 I mentioned earlier. So it's not going to go above that. So what's happened is last year it's gone beyond the price cap. So you can see how far it's gone up. It's shot up actually. So that's why, because of this price cap, they can't put these prices onto the consumer. So a lot of the gas companies have to pay for this themselves, and which has basically bankrupt a lot of gas companies over the past year or so, and there's more going to be getting bankrupt as well. So Brexit is a big issue, nobody's really talking about it. Supply chain is also an issue. Gas coming in from Europe, Russia is also diminished as well. So there's a lot of issues, plus the virus as well. So UK has got a lot of issues it needs to sort out, and I don't think it's going to be sorting out any of those problems anytime soon. So as I mentioned earlier, the interest rates will also go up, which is really bad news for people that have mortgages, that have loans as well. If you're paying a certain amount of mortgages every month, your monthly mortgage payments is going to increase by £100 or maybe £200, depending on the amount of mortgage you pay. And a lot of people don't have that kind of money lying around, especially at this time when goods and services are at an all-time high with inflation. Cost of living is very high. And to be honest, the government has put itself in this situation. They have been printing a lot of money past few years, and inflation is an impact of that. And also Brexit has also increased this problem as well, because Because of Brexit, there's been huge supply chain issues, and the cost of goods arriving to UK is much more expensive because of the red tape as well, and so that's caused more inflation. And unfortunately, their foreign policy, especially against China, means goods from China are coming in more expensive and more late because the amount of issues they have with China at the moment. Even though China is the biggest trade partner, that's also causing a lot of issues as well. It would have been easier to have a free trade deal with China, and things would have been much easier. But no, they didn't want to do that. They like to victimize China and make him sound like the bad guys with all the Uyghur fake news and stuff like that, and that's also caused a lot of issues as well. So they're having to buy stuff from America, which is much more expensive, and having to buy stuff from Europe as well. While previously in Brexit it used to be free, now they have to pay extra Brexit goods, and also the cost of supply chains as well. It's just everything is just much more expensive. Money printing hasn't helped. Obviously, the Fed in the States have been money printing over the past few years, and UK pretty much does whatever America does. So America does, UK follows. So UK has been doing the same. They've been money printing past few years as well to pay for the virus and lots of other things as well, furlough schemes and things like that. And now it's pretty much biting everyone back at the moment. So things are not looking good, guys. Not looking good at all. I want to briefly talk about this story that just came out as well. I've just noticed this. It says UK banned Huawei because US told us to, former minister. So there's a British minister who recently retired, and he came out and spoke on the paper saying that the reason UK banned Huawei is not because of security risks or any risks, spy risks or anything like that. The main reason is because US told them to, and they did it, like the lovely little poodles that they are. And the UK people are now paying for it, and we're paying for it because the 5G rollout is going to be delayed by 2 or 3 years, and UK is going to be falling behind the rest of the world in terms of 5G technology. And you can see China, how far 5G is taking their technologies. They've got AI, very much world leader in AI at the moment. Their network speed is super fast. EVs and other technologies, they're pretty much moving up in the world, and we're catching up. And 5G brings so many great technologies, and UK is going to be very slow to get these technologies up and running, because as you know, 5G gives you great speed, great transfers of speed of data, and data is the new oil at the moment. So when you can transfer a lot of data across different companies or different channels, then it's just great for the economy, because you can do that much more, that much faster. So if two companies are communicating and you have a database, for example, your database calculations will be done much faster, because the data transfer across the network across 5G is going to be much faster. So we're here, companies are still playing catch up. So if they're still on 4G, the data transfer between companies is going to be much slower than 5G, for example. So it just gives people that have 5G, or companies that have 5G, or countries that have 5G, that much more advantages, because you as a company can get your data much faster, which makes your reporting much faster as well. I work in IT, and I know for a fact that how important it is for data transfer, how important it is, because we run a process called ETL, where we transfer data from one system to another overnight, and it runs overnight, and sometimes it runs for 12 hours, sometimes there's delays, and it runs for 14 hours, for example. So that ETL process could be reduced so much by having fast data transfers. And if it was 5G, for example, you'd been so much better. Other advantages of 5G is like virtual reality, and there's a new crave going on around the world with the metaverse, and it's happening in the UK, happening in the US, and happening all over the world. But unfortunately, you need 5G to really take full advantage of this metaverse. Also, automated driving, autonomous driving. I mean, um, if you want to have flying cars, for example, you need 5G. 5G provides so many benefits. Automation, robotics, AI, fast computing. It just brings so much advantages to a country, and it brings added wealth and foreign investment to a country if you have 5G. But if you're really slow, you know, with 5G, you're just being left behind, and we're being left behind with the rest of the world, unfortunately. And it's just we're having to suffer because UK is being a poodle to America, and America's not suffering. UK is the one that's suffering, and we're the ones that are suffering because of it. And I just don't think it's fair at all. And I blame Boris for this again. So I brought this up because there seems to be a 40 billion trade deficit with China at the moment, and China is still UK's biggest trading partner. And every day I see bad newspaper reports about China and all of these ministers bad mouthing China. They don't have anything nice to say about China at all. If Britain had they had some brains and basically stopped being such a poodle state to America, they could have worked with China and had a bit more friendly relations, maybe have a free trade deal. It would have benefited UK in so many ways, but instead all they want to do is vilify China. All they want to do is follow the footsteps of America. Whatever America do, UK pretty much follows. And I'm just sick of this poodle behavior. I'm just absolutely sick of it, guys. Completely sick of it. And then I saw this story as well, that London Underground, some of the tube lines may have to close because they've not been getting enough money because of all the lockdowns and people working from home, for example, not enough people traveling. So the tube is losing a lot of money, so they may have to close some lines, unfortunately. So we'll see how this story goes. But I got a feeling that the government will probably bail them out of some sort, but we'll see. So the final story, I want to talk about this, and I just laughed when I heard this, and I absolutely, it says here, Patel is absolutely appalled by Chinese spy alert. But, yeah, the whole economy is going down in UK. UK is pretty much getting destroyed in terms of the inflation, in terms of the economy. The Brexit, now the Omicron virus. Britain has got much better things to think about, worry about, than a Chinese spy, and which I don't even believe anyway. I mean, there is no Chinese spy, guys, because look at Britain's policy towards China over the last 2-3 years. They've not said or done anything good about China. It's always about negative stuff. So if there was some sort of spy, he or she is working against China, because Britain has done nothing for China. And secondly, I want to show you this article as well. It says, inside China spy network using sex and cash to woo UK and US officials. So they're saying, these Chinese women are basically using cash and sex to woo these guys. This guy on the right, you might know him as Duncan Smith. This is a very much a notorious anti-Chinese, anti-China guy. Anything to do with China, this guy stands up and talks a lot of crap. He's also been sanctioned by the CPC as well. But what China has responded back, saying, look, China rejects groundless MI5 claims that Hong Kong-born lawyer is a Beijing spy. And this woman is based, she's Hong Kong-born. She's not mainland-born. And, China also says we have no need to buy influence. Exactly, guys. Britain is not significant around the world anymore. You might think you're a superpower. You're not. China is not even interested. You're like a little ant compared to them. They don't care about your influence, whether they have influence in UK or not. They know you're a poodle to America. China doesn't want any part of it. Seriously, you need to stop thinking like you're some sort of superpower when you're not. And this is the lady they're accusing of being a spy, by the way. This lady on the right, and she's not even proper Chinese. She's born in Hong Kong, raised in Hong Kong. So I don't know where they got this, this spy thing from. And a lot of Chinese, netizens are basically saying this is 007 fantasy, And I know what they're doing. They're doing this to basically, take shine away from the economy, take shine away from all of these inflation, gas prices, and things are doom and gloom at the moment. So the only thing they can do to kind of make people think about something else is to write an article about China. So they've been doing that for the last 2-3 years. Whenever England's having a hard time, Boris is having a hard time, they need something to kind of take that shine off, or take that headlines off. So what they do, they write something about China, and that's it. They think problem solved, but it doesn't work like that anymore. Everyone knows this is all BS. Everyone knows. I know, and anyone with a brain knows this is all crap and BS. I mean, I've never seen anything so bad. This is worse than all of these concentration camp stories or forced labor camp stories. This is beyond fantasy to me. So that's all I wanted to say for today, guys. So let me know what you guys think about the state of UK and everything I've spoken about. Make sure you give me your comments. I love reading your comments. I try and respond to every single comment of yours. Try and make sure your comments don't get deleted by YouTube. Just double check spellings and you haven't used any swear words. Like I said, I love reading your comments. So I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care for now.